So today I want to talk about my weigh-in and how the scale didn't move this week, but that's okay. So week 2 of losing 100 pounds before the age of 40, realistically I'd like to lose this before August this year, but I'm trying to give myself more runway so that I can really focus on the things I need to do. We're going to look at calories, steps, cravings, and what the scale actually meant. So my starting weight at the beginning of March was 334. After the first week of just focusing on 10,000 steps and tracking my food, I was down to 328. So I wanted to just kind of put this plug in there. I am putting my journey on Substack, which basically is just a area to write articles about how things are going. So I'm documenting that process and then coming and sharing the videos here. So I'm going to do weekly updates on Fridays there, but I'm also doing any lessons that I've learned along the way. This week I talked about water weight and glycogen and carbs. So there won't be any fad diets. It's just going to be consistency and real data. Um, so if you want to search how I'm losing 100 pounds before 40 on Substack, that should be there. So the numbers from this week. My average calorie intake was 2,300 and my TDEE dropped because my weight went down some. So it went down to 2,845. My goal is to stay under 2,500 calories when I track my food, which I've done every day this week. One day was super close. I think I was 5 calories under that, but I was still under that. And that's my goal, is to stay under every day. So what this means is I want consistent calorie deficit all week long, no extreme dieting, and I want to focus on repeatability and sustainability so that I'm not having these big fluctuations, ups and downs based off of how I'm feeling. What I ate this week consisted mostly of proteins, which was eggs, chicken, and turkey. Carbs, I did a lot of potatoes, tortillas. We did some vegetables and salads. And then a lot of my other carbs this week, unfortunately, came from like bag chips like Doritos or granola bars. I didn't eat anything real big this week or any crazy things. It was mostly just simple foods that most people have laying around their house. Yes, there were sweets. This week was a bad week for sweets, but I did make them work into my calorie goal. We had ice cream one night. We had M&Ms another day. We had my wife made brownies, so I had to eat some of those. But I was still able to track everything and keep it under my calories. The difference this time is I didn't feel guilty this week. I didn't have a cheat spiral like, oh, hey, I had one brownie. I've got to have 10 brownies. Or I had a brownie. Okay, today's ruined. Let me just eat whatever I want. So I was working with foods and working those foods into my calorie deficit because I want to figure out how to do both. I shouldn't have to choose one or the other. I should be able to eat both ways. And really, a lot of this comes down to just progress through consistency, keeping consistent with my tracking goals, allowing myself to eat what I want to eat, but I'm making sure that I'm staying within that goal that I've set. Movement this week was still trying to get the 10,000 steps every day. I was able to hit that. I probably averaged around 10,250. My highest day so far is 12,000, but we do have a busy weekend coming up with gymnastics, so there may be a day where I get a lot more steps. My main focus has been walking more just throughout the day. Instead of walking one time in the morning, have 20 minutes to 30 minutes throughout the day that I can just walk. After food works really good, but I can split it up however I want. I've had some late night walks at like 11 o'clock in my office just marching. So walking and being in movement or moving has been a big goal. Uh, Other than that, I haven't felt anything this week. I really feel like walking's getting easier. I am sore, but I had a baseball practice on Wednesday, which required me to be down in like a catcher's stance for 15 minutes at a time. So I am sore there, probably just because I haven't used those muscles in a while. But from the walking alone, I have not felt super sore this week. Water intake, for the most part, has been 140 ounces per day or better. The last 2 days, though, I've been around 100 ounces. I'm just feeling a lot of that like fluid log, especially with water. Trying to drink a lot of water at one time is kind of hurting me because I've been waiting until the end of the day to try to get the rest of it in instead of drinking more throughout the day. Uh, and that can have some play in the fluctuation on the scale as well. So the big lesson for this week was 1 gram of glycogen holds 3 to 4 grams of water. So my weight can fluctuate by 2 to 3 pounds easily from that alone. Now, if you don't know, which it took me a while to figure this out, one carb is pretty much equal to one glycogen. So if I'm eating 270 carbs that means I have 270 grams of glycogen. Now, not all of that switches over to glycogen, but a good portion of it. So if I'm not using a lot of those carbs and that glycogen in my bloodstream, I can hold on to a lot of water at the end of the day. And that water weight can often hide really that real weight loss. So I think what happened and why the scale didn't change this week is week one, I increased my activity, which means I was burning glycogen. And when you were burning glycogen, you also are pulling the water weight off. So that increase in activity to 10,000 steps from pretty much nothing probably dropped my glycogen levels, which then dropped my water weight pretty quickly, which is why I weighed 5.5 pounds less than the week before. And then week two, my body adapted to that exercise, and I'm still maintaining a good diet. So I'm holding the glycogen cells probably a little bit more consistently now, and my body's adapted to that. So my weight didn't go down, but last week's weight was overinflated because of the water. So my weight is probably pretty close to 328 right now between the last 2 weeks. What surprised me is the habits are getting easier. So tracking my food feels pretty normal. Before I take my bite, I go ahead and track it. It feels normal now, and I'm starting to see consistency with the calorie goals that I'm trying to hit. My walking daily, it is routine. Like I want to get it done. I haven't missed a day where I've got 10,000 steps, um, but I'm not good at being consistent throughout the day, so that's something I need to get a little bit better at. And weight loss is just becoming a byproduct of these things that I'm doing. The system right now is, again, just continue to track my food, walk 10,000 steps a day, drink my water, and stay in my calorie goal. That if I do all of those things on a daily basis, I will hit my goals down the road. I may have to adjust over time just because I'll have less weight on me. But for right now, that is the main focus. It's just those pieces. So what's next? Right now, I'm not making any changes. The system's working. I'm tracking my weight. I'm walking my steps. I'm doing what I need to. The scale may not show it, but I feel really good right now. So I'm just going to focus on repeating that process. One of the things that I've done some more studying into is the carbs. And if calculations are right, I should be around 220 carbs per day to fuel my body. Right now I'm sitting around 270, so there's about 50 carbs that I could adjust, which would then bring down some of that water weight as well, but allow me to quickly use the glycogen cells so that I can get to the fat burning process. Other than that, if you've made it this far, I want to thank you for your support. Again, my goal is just to lose 100 pounds. I'd like to do it before 40. Optimally, I'd like to lose more before August of this year. I'm going to continue doing weekly updates and just lessons I've learned. Make sure to subscribe on Stubstack. It's just emails. It's not emails. It's a post that I create, and then if you're subscribed, it sends you an email so that you can see it when I post it. That way you don't have to go find it. It comes to you. And a lot of this just comes down to consistency over perfection.